Hello, how's everybody doing? Hi, are you ready for today's awesome session where we're going to talk about sleep? All right, wow, I already see so many messages in here. How's it going, Pearly? Winston, woohoo! Our superstar. Yvonne, hi. Nick, wow. Okay, guys, give me a quick shout out if you're here and on this live session happening for you. We're ready. I love it. I love it. Give me a quick shout out, gang. Let me know you're here and tell me where you're logging in from. I won't be surprised. Some of you are in other parts of the country. Happily locked down. Yeah, I think we're all going through our CMCO, this second wave. Um, and many of us are going through it better or for worse. So I'm not so sure. As we get into, we did the first wave, and I think we were all very well behaved. I think we are also quite well behaved this second wave. I think we are flattening it, some of us guys. But if I may, are we taking it better? Yeah, with working from home. I think a lot of people are saying, wow, this time we had to work from home. We were more ready. How many of you were more ready? Say, yeah. Yeah, we kind of knew what to do. We went straight into it. In fact, we're enjoying it. I don't know if some of you are enjoying. Yeah, how are you? Oh my gosh, Sarah, nice to have you. Long time no see. I always enjoy you being on our lives. Yeah, yeah. Anybody else from your team coming on board? I know more people need sleep over there. Huh? Okay, so without further ado, let me introduce the show, everybody. This is the Resilient Leadership Live Asia, and we're all about, hey, Eileen, all right. Okay, we're getting more people in the house. Let's rock this place. So welcome to the Resilient Leadership Live Asia. We've been running this series of shows. Those of you who have been following these shows, thank you very much for your loyalty, for following through. And this time round, those of you who were following our Leadership Live Asias, you know we were talking a lot about business strategies, about leadership strategies, how to engage my team, and then my virtual team, yeah, they're logging in from everywhere. So the first half of MCO, especially our first wave, we did a lot of business strategies, a lot of how-to, because that was what people needed. And then we realized that, hey, Ellen, oh my gosh, yeah, nice to have you, Ellen. Thank you very much for being here. We realized that in the second wave, a lot of people were getting a little bit tired, burnt out, especially because it's the year end. A lot of people were just saying, oh my gosh, I've had enough of year 2020 and we're going into a second wave now. It's more a mental marathon. How many of you know what I'm talking about? It's more like a mental marathon. I can see the finishing line. I just want to get this done. Yeah, so which is why our Resilient Leadership Live Asia, we took the more holistic approach. Hey, Jim. Oh my gosh, nice to have you, Jim. Mwah, thank you for your support. To take this holistic approach of leadership, whether you are owning your own businesses or leading businesses or even employed, yeah, taking this holistic approach of self-care, of taking care of yourself, of looking after your own anxiety levels, your own stress levels, your eating habits, your exercise, because now we're all locked down at home. We can't really go out. There are a lot of limitations, yeah, although we can go to gyms, guys, but there are a lot of limitations. So for me, over here at the Spark Group Asia, we have taken a more holistic approach. And today we're talking about something so important, which is SLEEP. All right, sleep. Okay. So let me ask some of you, how many of you are getting some good sleep? Say yeah. Some of you who are, oh my gosh, kacau bilau, I can't go to sleep. It takes me 3 hours to fall asleep. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the morning. Tell me, oh my gosh, Hafiz is excited to sleep more. Thank you. Some more all capital letter. Hi. So that's good. So we talk about sleep. So if I can, I just want to show you a graph. Can we just take a look at this pictorial that I found? And that is so interesting because sleep affects many things. And one of the things is resilience. resilience of a leader comes from real sleep. So I just want to throw this pictorial up, guys. Can I just show the graph? My guys in the background, can we just show it up, please? All right. Yeah. Sometimes enough sleep, sometimes not enough. Yvonne, I need more restful sleep. Oh gosh. Yeah. If you're like me, and I don't know whether you guys did my poll, I'm going to show you the poll shortly, guys. We actually got a poll going across many people, and this is what came back. I was almost shocked. All right. So can I just get my team to show up that graph, please? Yeah. Of what we found very, very interesting on how sleep affects our productivity. Okay, so we're just getting them to show it up. It's taking a little while here. All right. Okay. All right. Just not sure whether the guys can hear me, and I'm bringing it up. Okay. So anyway, guys, those of you who are interested to talk a little bit more about sleep and you have your issues, share it inside the comment. Yeah. While the guys are bringing up the pictorial, just share it here. And what I plan to do next is to bring up our two awesome panelists, guys. So are you guys ready? Are you guys ready to hear from our awesome sleep experts here, gang? All right. If you are, give me a drum roll. Okay. As I bring up, we will bring on the pictorial very shortly. The first person that I like to bring up here is none other than Sarah. So can we just drum roll, guys? Can we give Sarah a very warm welcome? All right.
Hello. Hey,
Hey,
everyone. How's it
fantastic.
going?
Welcome, Sarah. Okay. So, guys, okay, everybody's waving at you. Guys, can I have a big wave, please? All right, type it in. Let's give Sarah a very warm welcome. Can you see my wave?
Wave.
Yeah. So Sarah, everybody, she doesn't need an introduction. I think some of you may already know her, but she's the first certified sleep coach in Malaysia. And how she started, I think we were having this wonderful conversation at a women association gathering, and Sarah was sharing a lot about how she was helping parents to put their kids to sleep, and that's such an art, such a gift. And so Sarah has gone on to turn many parents' lives around, because also during this pandemic, many people are struggling with good quality sleep. Yay, everybody! Hi, Yvonne.
Hi, Yvonne.
A
Hi,
Jim.
Jim.
Oh my gosh, we have such a warm bunch. Thank you, everybody. So let me just
Thank
give
you.
a quick introduction uh, for Sarah. Okay, so Sarah is
Hi,
certified by
Yu
the
Heng.
International. Yeah, Yu Heng. Hi, nice to have you. Received training and certified by the International Maternity and Parenting Institute in California. Also a member, proud member of Association of Professional Sleep Consultants. Okay, so basically, Sarah has been doing a lot of great work for many years now. So I'm so excited to have you here. What you
Thank
see,
you.
yeah, what you see on the graph, guys, was the pictorial I wanted to send you. So, guys, can we just take that off for a bit while we introduce the gang? All right. Okay. Wow. Suto Xiang, long time no see. Vernon, long time no see. Wow. Okay, we're having some amazing people all ready to hear this awesome bunch. All right. Without further ado, just want to bring up, that was Sarah. I want to bring up Shawn. All right. So help me, everybody. Let's welcome Shawn.
Hello.
Hey. Hi,
Hi,
Shawn. How are
Sean.
you?
Hello. I'm great. How are you guys?
How are you guys doing? Are you guys rocking and rolling? How's it going, Emma? Wow. Emma is also a follower of a lot of our programs, and I'm so happy to see you
Hey,
today.
Ayuni's here. Hi,
Hey.
Ayuni.
Hi, Ayuni. Okay, so I'm going to introduce Shawn as well. So Shawn is a clinical psychologist. So you have here today two very amazing people.
Hello.
And
Hi,
yeah,
Jim.
So, as a clinical psychologist, Shawn has been is also the head of science at Naluri Life. He's also the co-founder of Cycle Consultancy, Psychological Services. So, a lot of his work is around psychological and behavioral disorders. All right, yeah. And some of these psychological disorders include depression, insomnia, obesity, stress, and procrastination. Oh my gosh, I didn't think procrastination is a mental disorder.
It is not a
Uh-oh.
mental disorder, but it is actually characterized by some very specific mental processes. If we have time, we can definitely talk about it. People
Okay,
who
okay.
procrastinate tend to think in a very similar manner.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. I think I was surprised at that because procrastination is like do later, but so I'd love to hear about that. In fact, that may be another show for us. Okay, that may be another show. But today we're going to talk about sleep. All right. So without further ado, now that we've done the introductions, I'm very excited to bring up the poll. We have some very excited people. Guys, I hope you are ready with your questions because it was not easy for me to nail down these two amazing experts to get them on our show today. So it's very valuable that you have your questions ready. But without further ado, let me just show you the poll that we did recently. All right. So let's bring it up. So this is the poll. And we did this on LinkedIn. Some of you who participated, yeah, Ayuni, I also very excited. Okay. As we did this poll, I was shocked. Okay. So 52% of people sleep the same or sleep better during MCO. I was like, wow, that's nice. 21% felt tired after sleep. How many of you still feel tired after sleep? Yeah, just go, yeah, feel that way too. Hey, Joyce, nice to see you. Welcome, welcome. Interesting findings. Thank you, Winston. 15% cannot shut off and sleep. The initiation process. Yeah. So I believe some of you have been asking me these questions. You have been PMing me and we're asking these questions. Why cannot shut off and sleep? What are you busy doing? Jangan this one. And 13% find it hard to stay asleep. That means terbangun, woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and then cannot go back and sleep. Any of you, Jolene is the 13%. Oops. All right. Very nice. Joyce, can't sleep well during MCO and during this CMCO. So since February, Joyce. Wow. So if I may, we did this poll. And one of the questions that came to me, I said, wow, so many people sleeping well or better during MCO. So one of the questions that came across, so let me pose this across to the experts here. What is good quality sleep? Because I'm thinking these people that have good sleep, the same if not better sleep, are they sleeping well, or what is good sleep? So I'd like to pose that across to Shawn and Sarah. How do I know if I've got good sleep or bad sleep?
Shall I?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Sam can go first.
Okay, sure. So to answer that question, actually we have to look at another question first. What is the purpose of sleep? Because you can only know the quality of sleep after you truly understand the purpose of sleep. So let me ask you guys this, right? What do you think is the purpose of sleep?
Guys, bring it on.
Yep.
What do you think is the purpose of sleep? Okay. Let me try. Okay.
Yep,
because for me, I'm also very interested to know. So I imagine the purpose of sleep is to get enough rest, is to feel energized for the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Anybody else with other purposes?
Yep. Recharge. Now, just think about this question, right? The reason why this is such an important question is because the quality of sleep depends on whether it serves its purpose, isn't it? So if we don't know the purpose of sleep, we can't really know how to evaluate the quality of our sleep. So just think about this. What is your belief about sleep? What do you think is the purpose of sleep? Okay, restoration, to recuperate, and these are the common answers that we get. So what else? I've been told that we have a very active and jolly bunch here, so I expect a lot of responses.
Biological need, Jennifer. Thank you.
Biological need.
苏就想 rest,
Why do
repair
we
and
have this
recover.
biological need? Why do we have the biological need to sleep? To rest and to pause from the whole day task. Now, so far the responses that we're getting seems to imply that sleep is to recover the body, to regenerate, to recharge, right? So let me give you another scenario, and I want you to think about this. Okay, someone already have the answer because this person probably has already heard my sleep talk before. Now, just think about this. We often believe that sleep is to recover the body. Imagine if you went for a 42-kilometer marathon run, right? And after you completed the run, you probably feel very exhausted. And then you go home and rest. So when you go home, let's say you don't sleep. You just have a cup of coffee. You just watch TV and rest for a while. After a few hours, do you think you will regain some of your energy?
For sure. A little bit.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Now, this is an evidence that you don't always have to fall asleep for you to recharge your physical energy. Right? So let's say you are sick, you have a bit of sore throat and so on. Have you experienced a situation where you don't sleep, you just carry on with your daily activity, and later in the day you actually feel better?
Yeah.
Yes, right?
Sometimes.
So sometimes. So this is also another example that you don't always need to sleep in order for you to recover from an illness. Okay, so I'm not saying that sleep is not important. I'm not saying that sleep is not to help heal your body. Definitely, if you sleep, you will be able to recover faster, regenerate energy faster. But you don't necessarily need to sleep to achieve that. So if those are not the core reasons for sleep, what is sleep for?
Yeah. I think I'm going to scroll back up and look at one of those responses.
See which one is the correct one.
I'll find the correct one.
To save time, because this is such an interesting topic that we'll have a lot of things to talk about, so I'll just give you the answer. Sleep is strictly for the brain. So sleep is for brain health. Sleep is to develop the brain. You will notice that children sleep more because it is also they are in the age where their brains are developing very, very fast. As we grow older, we sleep less because it is also true that as we grow older, our brains actually grow slower. Okay, so sleep is strictly for the brain. So to answer the question, how do I know that my quality of sleep is good? We have to look back at our brain functioning. If you notice that your brain can function well, generally speaking, you have enough sleep, even if you don't feel refreshed in the morning. Okay, that answers the question.
Okay, but that's very subjective. So how do I know when my brain is not functioning at its optimal level?
Exactly. So how can you know that?
Yeah.
You can't really know that.
Yeah, there's no litmus test, right? Like no litmus test to say that this is okay sleep, this is like average sleep, this is poor sleep, right?
And that is why most of the time when we evaluate sleep, we evaluate based on our subjective experience of how we feel when we wake up. If you feel tired, you feel that your sleep is not well. But the truth is, as long as your brain is functioning optimally, which we don't really know what is the optimal level of sleep, we actually get enough sleep. So most of the time when people talk about sleep, we are talking about our subjective experience of sleep. I hope that makes sense.
Our subjective experience. So then this beckons me to ask this question: how do I know if I've slept well? And maybe because you say it's the brain function, right? And if my brain feels tired or my brain is not functioning well the next day, how do I know? Or is this, and maybe I'd like to ask Sarah this question, is it a question of maybe I compare my brain function to all the other days? Or is it something where my brain function starts to show me some deterioration over a longer period of time? So that's my question now. So perhaps maybe Sarah and then Shawn can chime in.
Yeah, so I probably won't give like such scientific version like how Shawn does it, because that's how he does. But for me, it's more like lifestyle. I think like when we mentioned earlier something about productivity, about memory recall. I think when it comes to having those kind of restful sleep, it kind of gives you that, okay, I feel fresh, I'm ready to tackle the day. I think it's more like a feeling, more like it, that you know you had that rest. And when you perform a certain task, it doesn't take too much of that brain power. Like, oh my gosh, I got to recall this certain information so much. What was it again? What was it again? Okay, I think that one, your brain's not working very well. But if you can like quickly, okay, I know this answer, you know, very fast. So I think that means you got enough sleep to recharge your brain for that particular task. So when it comes to creativity, productivity, memory recall, I think this is what would be like so-called the litmus test, I suppose. That would be my opinion of how you feel that if you had enough sleep.
Right. Thank you, Sarah. It's more the remembering of certain details, and that is not coming with age. You know, it's the sudden forgetfulness. Yeah. Okay. And we can remember. Then we know if our brain is optimal. Shawn, anything to add about? Thank you, Sarah. How else do we know?
Basically, Sarah has gotten the the core of this question. So of course, if you really want to know whether your brain is functioning optimally, we need to run some neuropsychological tests, which not a lot of people actually have done that before, and not a lot of people are able to provide such a test, and there is really no need. You generally will know whether your cognitive performance is declining overall. So another thing to look out for is if you notice you have a lot of sleeping spells in the during the day. So you suddenly you just feel very sleepy all of a sudden. Even if you try to stay awake, you can't. That is generally a good indication that you have accumulated a lot of hutang tidur, sleep debt.
Yeah. Sleep debt, yeah.
Sleep debt.
Yes.
Wow. That's a real
which
thing.
You can never repay. You can never repay it back,
exactly.
by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
It just accumulates. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so it doesn't mean that I sleep more and then that debt goes down. No, it just...
You can recover some of it, but you'll never be able to catch up. So let's say if you have accumulated 100 hours of sleep debt, it's not that you sleep for another extra 100 hours that you will be able to pay back. It's not like your bank loan, okay? But you will be able to improve some of your of your brain functioning if you have a bit of more catch-up sleep. But you won't. You will never be able to fully repay your sleep debt.
Yeah,
that's so interesting because I know some people that go for their 5-day holidays and say, okay, I'm going to catch up on sleep. Have you heard that before? So actually, you literally cannot catch up.
No.
It's very, very interesting.
So from a scientific point of view, and we can sort of like estimate that if you sleep extra every day, you can probably repay about 2 hours of sleep debt. So if you accumulated 10 hours of sleep debt, let's say, the next day, if you sleep for 10 extra hours, you don't actually regain that 10 hours of sleep debt. You only get to pay back about 2 hours of it. So if you have accumulated 10 hours of sleep debt, it will probably take you about 5 days at least to fully pay back the sleep debt.
To recover,
As modern day adults, we probably have already accumulated such a huge debt that we are unlikely to be able to repay in our lifetime, to be honest. Maybe until we retire, that is.
Oh gosh. That's why we do most of our sleeping when we are young, when we're like this knee high, we better do all that sleeping. And which is going to bring me to the next question that is on everyone's mind. But before I do that, I'm seeing some questions come in. Guys, those questions are really good. And please keep it coming because we're going to get to all of them very, very soon. So my next question is exactly what we were pointing at because I think you talked about it. Is it true that the need for sleep changes with how old you are? And as you talk about sleep debt, do I sleep more, and then as I get older, I don't have to sleep so much? So we're not sure what kind of debt are we incurring right now, and how much sleep is really necessary. Does that change with age? So maybe I'd like to pose this to Sarah and then Shawn. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So in my experience, I work with the little ones, the babies. So they are the sleep needs is the highest. So it's like I will usually feed in a form of like in a 24 hours, like 12 hours is meant for their sleep, and then another 12 is fragmented daytime sleep, which they also need, which is super important as well because that supports the night sleep. But as we age, like adolescents, so once you go into teenage years, then your sleep. Yes, it's lesser, but then your sleep shifts. The rhythm shifts a little bit where they sleep a little bit later, wake up a bit later. So society would label them as like they're lazy teenagers, but actually no, this is just biologically, that's just what they're supposed to do. This is how they sleep. And then once they hit like young adults and then adults and all, that's when the 7 hours, 8 hours of sleep is needed. And then the elderly ones, they still need the same requirement of sleep. It's just that they're not as efficient in the way that they sleep or sustaining that sleep, that they wake up and then they're like, oh, because of maybe they're aging and they have a lot of pain, they're uncomfortable, something that comes in to not support that sleep. So they seem to sleep better, but actually they're actually very tired. They're not getting enough sleep. So it's not like I sleep lesser because I'm older, but actually they do need a little bit more sleep. Like they're going back to that baby infancy stage, you know, like they actually need that. Yeah. So they can never repay, like, you know, we're talking about the sleep debt. There's no way that they can catch up, but we can definitely help them to improve in terms of their sleep efficiency. That's another thing that we can talk about as well.
Right. Sarah, that's fantastic insight, because I think one of the questions that's coming, and I'll pose this to Shawn, is, you know, do we necessarily need 8 hours of sleep? And another question that is coming about, I think this is a really, really good question. It's also a question on my mind, is does the timing of your sleep impact your sleep total? So if I sleep at 1 o'clock, but I sleep all the way until 11 a.m., yeah, I got my sleep in. But is that how does that impact the quality of the sleep? Yeah.
Okay, so there are two questions here. Let me answer the easier one. The first one, do we necessarily need 8 hours of sleep? The short answer is no. You sometimes may need 10, you sometimes may need 6. And the thing is, our basic sleep requirement is different from individual to individual.
One to another.
There is,
correct.
Yep. And the tricky thing about this is that there is really no real way for you to know what is your actual sleep requirement. Because in order for us to truly know our sleep requirement, you have to fully pay out your debt first, right? So you have paid out your debt, and then you allow yourself a period of time to just feel sleepy and fall asleep naturally and wake up naturally. But we have been trained to wake up depending on our alarm clocks, and to sleep after we have finished our work, you see? So we must have accumulated a huge amount of sleep that we won't be able to really know how much sleep we actually need. So the actual sleep requirement is sort of like a hypothetical and conceptual idea. We know that different people have different requirements for sleep, but we will never truly know. Okay?
I see.
So according to research, some people, and this requirement will change as you age. So as you get older, it is true that you will need to sleep less. That is generally true. Again, like what I mentioned to you, sleep requirement usually maps very well with the rate of our brain development. So kids need a lot of sleep because that is also the time where their brains develop the most. Okay, so as we become adults, at a certain age, we will notice that our sleep requirements will stable out, because that is also the time where the rate of our brain development is sort of like plateaued. Okay, so that's the first question, the easy one. The second one, does the timing of my sleep affect sleep total? So the thing about sleep is that consistency is probably more important than anything else. So you want to train yourself to have a very consistent sleep pattern. If you consistently sleep at 1 a.m., for example, and you are able to stay in this 1 a.m. to maybe 8 a.m. kind of 7-8 hours of sleep, and then there will be people who tell you that you need to sleep at a certain hour for optimal health, right?
Yes.
Generally speaking, from a scientific point of view, at least based on our clinical research right now, it doesn't seem to affect that much. But you would want to be able to form a very routine kind of sleep habit. So if, let's say, you actually need 8 hours of sleep, again, I won't really know how many hours of sleep you actually need because we can't really tell that, right? So if you need 8 hours of sleep and then you are used to sleeping from 1 a.m. to 8 hours later, which I don't know what time is that, it will probably be the same as 11 p.m. to whatever 8 hours later it is. So consistency is probably the most important thing here.
Okay, so it's about developing that routine, that consistency, but it has got nothing to do with your, apparently your liver starts to generate, at, 11 o'clock or 10:30, it starts to generate, so it's best to sleep then. Those are all some of the things that I've heard, so I'm not sure if that's true.
Yeah. I think those are like the hormones that are, they're doing what they're supposed to do at a certain hour or a certain time of the day, at a certain time of the night. And I recently studied about these sleep chronotypes where many of us, like half of us population falls into this bear chronotype, which means that we are the ones who are like the social workers lah. We are like the ones who get the world moving, you know, like 7 o'clock, wake up, go to work, and then by 10, 11 p.m. we go to sleep. But there are some other people as well, or a bunch of percentage of people who are wolves. They tend to sleep later and then they wake up later as well. So their hormones will go according to that sleep chronotype. That's what I learned. So which means that if you sleep at a time when you're supposed to sleep, when you feel ready to sleep, and wake up when you feel ready to wake up, that means that particular hormones like the liver work and the memory and the, all these rest reset thing will happen differently for that group of people. Yeah, so it's different. Individual will have different time of that body clock.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Sarah. I didn't know that we've got different designs of how we sleep. And what I love about what both of you are saying is that it is so unique, our sleep pattern, and there's no one that is the same that you can say it's 8 hours, it's 6 hours, it's 7 hours. There's no one that we can say the same. Yeah. So I'm going to start taking the questions from the floor because I think it's piling on so that we can squeeze in all the questions. Let's go with Emma Idris. First question. My husband has a sleeping disorder, aka sleep apnea. May I know what caused this sleep disorder? All right. Okay.
I guess I'll take this one.
Okay, this one, yeah, Shawn, yes, please. This is more scientific, medical disorder.
Yeah, exactly. So it depends on what type of sleep apnea that your husband has. So there are generally two types of sleep apnea. One is what we call central sleep apnea. The other one is what we call obstructive sleep apnea. So central sleep apnea is actually caused by your nervous system in some way. So what it means is that our body will naturally regulate our oxygen level. Okay, so when we are lack of oxygen, we'll tend to breathe faster. When we have enough oxygen, we can breathe slower and regulate it naturally. Central sleep apnea, which is actually quite rare. So I generally suspect that your husband has obstructive sleep apnea. Central sleep apnea is a problem where your brain, when asleep, doesn't know how to regulate oxygen level. So because when we sleep, right, we'll generally slow down in terms of our breathing. So at a certain point, when we don't have enough oxygen, we will breathe faster. But people with central sleep apnea, they fail to do so. So their body is lack in oxygen, and therefore their breathing becomes slower and muscles become more lethargic, less capability to work. But then the brain doesn't tell the body to breathe faster. So they become even slower, and in the end, they stop breathing altogether. So that's what we call central sleep apnea, something that has to do with the central nervous system. The other type, obstructive sleep apnea, is where your airway collapses when you sleep. And this usually happens for individuals who are overweight, generally speaking, because they have more flabby kind of internal structure. So when they fall asleep and when they are lying down, their airway and their entire structure collapse more easily. So these are the causes of sleep apnea in general. For the first type, central sleep apnea, generally speaking, there is not a lot of treatment. The second type can be helped with surgery. And also, if the person is overweight, losing weight will help a lot.
Okay, that's fantastic. Yep. Very, very good advice. Sorry, Sarah, anything to add to this?
No, he got it right. But I was new to that other one. What was it? That other sleep apnea? Central sleep apnea. That one is a new one for me. The obstructive sleep apnea, OSA, that's very common. Yeah, I think my husband had that as well. He went for surgery, but then after that, now it's not so helping. But he still snores a lot, and he like gasps for air. So that's what sleep apnea does to your sleep.
Fantastic. I really hope that helped, Emma. Very, very good question, guys. Let's bring it on. Joanne has asked a question here about her 35-year-old husband, but I think that was answered well with the sleep amount. So I'm just going to go through that. So Joanne, I hope we answered that. But I think Joanne asked another question. I'm just going to highlight that. I'm a new mother. I take 3 short naps a day with my baby, 2 times half to 1 hour naps during the morning and afternoon, 1 hour nap 10 p.m. Then I wake up at 11 to accompany my husband who comes back from work, sleep at 1 a.m., 5:30, wake up to pump, 6:30 a.m., sleep back 8 a.m. Basically, sleeping here and there when I can. I feel tired every day. Is my brain not really functioning well? Perhaps, Sarah, do you want to take this on?
Sure. I think this is this is I think normal for moms with new babies. They tend to have this sort of what do you call fragmented sleep or broken sleep because the baby wakes up either to feed or the baby doesn't latch on directly to the breast for breastfeeding. The mom has to express breast milk, right? So this takes time. So they literally have to wake up and express, and all this actually takes up a lot of that night sleep as well. So what was the question? Is whether her brain is not functioning well? I think from the sound of it, I don't think so, because I've been there. Because you don't get that one nice block of sleep, you know what I mean? So, and then you got to wake up and then take a nap and then wake up. So there's no real time for you to like, okay, this is a time for your own sleep routine, because babies have their own sleep routine, but moms, human adults, we all need our sleep routine. So without that, you're not actually helping your brain to function at its optimum health. I mean, it's not like it's not functioning at all, but it's not functioning well and you feel tired mostly. It really, really means you're exhausted, and it's a sign that you're not getting enough rest in your sleep, for sure.
And so I'm just coming back to what Shawn said about having that routine. So Joanne, is that is what Joanne going through a routine, or is it a question of some minimum number of hours that she should be sleeping? Sorry, I'm just kind of saying that out loud because maybe some of us are asking that question. So is there a minimum number of hours?
Sorry, is that
Shawn?
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't quite get the question, but I want to just address this question for a bit. I want to just probably give a tip, because I have a 3-month-old at home now. So this is sort of like an ongoing challenge for me and my wife, to my wife more than myself, to be honest. So one tip that I can give, if you really can't get like this one block of sleep, is to at least try to get one block of 90 minutes sleep. Okay, the reason why 90 minutes is such a specific number is because, at least so far for adults, based on our clinical observation, that we go through the entire stages of sleep in about 90 minutes. So we want to have about 3-4 cycles of sleep kind of brain changes, brain activity changes in a day, and 90 minutes would complete one cycle. So even if you can't sleep for the full 7-8 hours, try to sleep for 90 minutes block, 90 minutes block, 90 minutes block, and that would probably help maintain your brain function much better.
Right. Okay. So 90 minutes of solid sleep, and that would be sufficient. Okay. That's very, very good advice. Okay. Thank you very much. I hope that answered your question, Joanne. That's a very, very good question, guys. Keep it coming. Carlock. Okay, Vince asked, spiritual gurus claim they only need 2 to 3 hours of sleep. Why is that? So just now, Shawn said, 90 minutes of solid sleep. That's also good enough. Okay, so that's very good. Thank you so much, Vince. Awesome. Carlock. Can I sleep more to engage my brain development more? Okay. I think I'm not sure if this was a joke, Carlock, but yeah, does that help me make my brain better?
Well, if you get enough sleep, your brain will definitely develop optimally. But if you get more sleep beyond that, it doesn't actually help your brain grow any better. So that's the general idea.
When I get too much sleep, I wake up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just feel like a 1-ton truck hit me. I'm still blurred throughout the day because too much sleep.
In fact, a good analogy would be this. If you do zero exercise, doing a bit of exercise will help improve your body functioning, right? There is a certain level where after you do beyond, after you overdo yourself, you don't actually get additional benefit. In fact, it will actually prevent you from progressing well. So having too much sleep is not necessarily a good thing as well. Exercise, there is also such a thing called overdoing. So sleeping, the same thing.
So because you talk about exercise, because that's one of my favorite topics. Sorry, there are more questions coming in. I'm aware of that. Does exercise help the sleep? Okay, because
definitely.
A lot of people say, oh, definitely.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure.
For sure.
I'm tired already. I woke up, then I'm tired. So is that the reason why, or is there some other reason?
maybe the timing of your workout as well doesn't complement your sleep, because some people it's not good for them to exercise right before they go to bed, for example, at the end of the day. So there are certain times that you perform well, there's certain times where your body fat will burn the best, so when it comes to exercise. So perhaps the timing of the exercise is not how do you say, not numb with your body clock, so it makes you tired even more.
Oh, right.
In fact, when I usually give public talks on sleep, right, I will tell people that if you have a problem with sleep, before you decide to come and pay money to see me, if you're not doing exercise, please go and do exercise first. If you have done exercise, if you try to carry out your daily routine well, yet you cannot sleep, then you come to me. So yes, please go sleep first, because if anything, any sleep expert or any whatever health coach will tell you to go exercise first.
Exercise first. Okay, I really love that
advice. The body
has
to move. Yeah.
Yes, and actually, because we are all locked down now, the body really doesn't move. We've been rooted here, so actually, that is one of the challenges people find during lockdown. They just don't sleep as well, isn't it? So that's fantastic. Thank you so much, Shawn, Sarah. This other question by Nick Hironisa. I sleep 7 hours but still feel very tired after I wake up, and I'm not sure if I should sleep some more. Some holidays I sleep for 9 hours, but when I wake up, I am still tired. Any advice?
Okay.
Yeah.
This one has got that. I think this is beyond sleep. Like there's something else that's at play here. It's not just the sleep, because she's obviously doing the 7 hours and the 9 hours, but she still feels tired. Then it's probably some other health issues, that any other underlying health issues that probably needs to be looked into. Yeah, so I think and also probably does she do any routine to going to sleep? Is that how long does it take for her to fall asleep? You know, there's a lot of other factors that play. Also, is the air quality good or not in the room? Because we breathe a lot. I mean, we breathe all the time unconsciously as well. So if the air quality is not good, that's probably not going to be giving you that sort of like quality sleep as well, because you're breathing stale air or toxic air. That's another reason possibly.
Oh, that's a very good one, because when you talked about the environment, some people claim
the sleep environment.
Yeah, they claim that they can fall asleep with a little bit of sound. So they keep the TV on, they keep the radio on. I'm not sure what those practices are, but perhaps that's also keeping that person tired when they wake up. So that's a very interesting. So thank you so much, Sarah. That's very insightful. Shawn, anything to add?
So one thing that I would want to clarify is
Yes.
who asked the question? Nick, right?
Nick Hironisa.
Yep. So Nick Hironisa, when she wakes up,
Yes.
does she wakes up from alarm clock?
That's
so that's actually an important question to ask, because generally speaking, if you wake up naturally, you shouldn't feel very, very exhausted.
Okay.
People usually feel very, very tired or uncomfortable because they wake up from alarm clock. And the reason is because when we sleep, our brains go through different stages. There are certain stages when we wake up from it, it feels very difficult for us to wake up. Okay. But if we wake up naturally, generally it is because we have completed the cycle, and we are waking up in a state that our brain is ready to wake up, you see. So nowadays there are people who have this very bad habit where they actually wake up, but then they look at their handphone, the alarm clock is there's still some time before the alarm clock, and then they just sleep back. Or the other thing is they set a snooze kind of setting. People who use snooze have a very bad habit, right? They usually set snooze before they actually have to wake up. So let's say they definitely have to wake up at 8 a.m. Let's say they will start snoozing from 7:30. Okay, when they wake up, they say, I know I still have another 30 minutes. See, so Nick Karen is that she's using an alarm clock. Okay, so they will set at 7:30, and then when they wake up, they say, okay, I still have an hour, so I sleep, I snooze. They keep snoozing, and that is why when they wake up in a very difficult manner. So if you wake up naturally and you just open your eyes and you just carry on with your daily activity, you tend to have a much easier time waking up. So important note here, okay? Allow your body to wake up naturally, if possible.
That is fantastic.
So go to sleep early. Go to sleep early.
Okay, but because you talk about going to sleep, this environment. So Sarah, Shawn, you talked about this. How I go to sleep. So I think a lot of people, I think me included, you saw some of my LinkedIn posts, this is our gadget. And some people have been good to say it stays outside the room, plug it out, turn off the Wi-Fi. So to what extent the going to sleep part, and what do we need to zone down or remove or reduce as we go to sleep? So I'm just asking on behalf of Nick, and that tiring sleep that she has, although she has that 7 hours. So does that have anything to do with it? Can I get some advice here?
Sure. I mean, to me, what's important about how to make your body feel sleepy is the usage of light. That's it. So, like towards the evening, don't turn on, like make your house bright like it's a party or something, So make sure that the light is at minimal. So that tells the brain that it's time to go to bed, it's evening, your body's tired. It just signals the brain that the lesser light that you use, the better you feel sleepy. Light usage, and of course all these gadgets and all, if you can cut down maybe an hour before you go to sleep, that's the normal advice. But I know a lot of people, same here, I'm guilty as well, because I tend to, let's meditate before I go to sleep. So I use an app on the phone. So I still need to look at the phone, but I try to be mindful about the usage of it. Just try to at least go to sleep, not while looking at the phone and the phone falls down. I'm sure that happens
It's happened to me before.
on our face, right? So make sure that, okay, I need to go to sleep, put that away, and then just kind of focus on your breathing or something. That's how I put myself to sleep. So I think that would be some of the ways that can help. Light is for sure, it's the most important. And make sure don't use the fluorescent light. The one I have here is white light. Use yellow light. That one helps to make you feel more sleepy. And I use the standing lamp because that makes the whole and the feeling, the environment just makes it dimmer. So that also helps. That would be my tip for feeling sleepy towards going to bedtime.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. It's almost like we need to prepare to sleep. I think not a lot of people do that. They don't prepare to sleep. They just, okay, I'm going to shut off everything, and then they roll around for the next 2.5 hours, and that affects them. Shawn, yourself, what are some of the things that we can do to prepare for sleep?
So Sarah has actually covered the external environment component of sleep. So to manage environment well, lighting and so on, right? From a psychologist standpoint, we also prepare someone from an internal environment perspective. So let me explain this idea to you. I want to pose this question to all of you guys, okay? So just think about this.
Okay.
How do you know that you have fallen asleep?
Don't know. I wouldn't know it. I don't remember falling asleep.
Yeah, I don't hear anything anymore. I don't hear noise. I don't hear the motorcycles outside. Okay, how does everybody, guys, how do you know you've fallen asleep? Tell us.
How do you know that you have fallen asleep?
So we're all thinking now.
No one knows.
No,
okay.
I know. We're
not
waiting
supposed
because
to know.
Everybody's. I only know when I woke up.
Exactly. That's exactly the answer. You are not supposed to know that you are falling asleep. You can only know that you have fallen asleep after you wake up from it.
Oh my gosh.
That's true. That's true.
Okay.
Then you realize that, I was asleep. Yeah.
Exactly. So if we really look into this process, it means that your brain has to be descending. It has to quiet down, and you have to not be focusing on anything in order for you to fall asleep. You can only be aware of your sleep after you wake up from it. So the idea is this: if you are trying to fall asleep and you keep asking yourself, am I falling asleep? Am I falling asleep? You are not going to fall asleep. Or another thing is, you are actually falling asleep. You are feeling sleepy and you are slowly descending, but you somehow catch yourself falling asleep. I'm falling asleep. At that moment, you are waking again. Okay? So you notice that? So you cannot actually focus on wanting to sleep. The truth is, from an internal experience standpoint, you can only make sure that your mind is blank. So usually what we do is, apart from controlling our external environment as much as possible, comfortable environment, dim lighting as much as possible, cool temperature and so on, the next thing you want to do is to regulate your internal environment by not focusing on anything, which is very, very hard. Okay, because once you're not focusing on anything, then you will start to ask, okay, so am I doing this right? As soon as you say that, am I doing it right? You're thinking again. Another thing that people commonly do when they try to calm themselves is this. They will say, okay, I need to sleep now. So let's stop thinking. Let's stop talking to myself. Yes, I'm quiet now. Yes, I'm very relaxed. I'm not talking to myself. Do you notice the problem with that?
Yes.
They are using thinking to stop thinking. This is a paradox. They are talking to themselves to stop themselves from thinking.
Oh my gosh.
Because
that is
we're
so
overthinking creatures. We sleep
Exactly.
overthink. That's the thing. We cannot use thoughts to put ourselves to sleep.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So,
And when it's
modality
quiet.
is it's quiet, but then it was quiet is even worse. You're gonna listen to your thoughts even more.
Exactly.
So you just need for me, my modality or my go-to is the breath work. That's it. You just just focus. Oh, I'm breathing. Yes, I'm breathing. Okay, now take a deeper breath. Then after a while, it just kind of takes your mind off the thought because because you're focusing on your breathing, and breathing is something what we do, right? So after a while, that kind of, for me, that just like the next thing I know, I'm just asleep. So it helps me to not think. Yeah.
Correct. You have described the right process here. The way to fall asleep from an internal environment standpoint is for you to focus on the sense of sleepiness, for example, the sense of relaxation, and then the next thing is nothing. Okay, just stay there. Focus on the sense of sleepiness, and then just stay there, and then you will naturally fall asleep. But you can't ask yourself, when is this going to happen? Am I doing it right? You can't ask yourself any of that. You just focus on the sense of sleepiness. So sometimes you may feel a bit like dizzy or like just a bit, sleepy and stuff like that. And then you just focus on that experience and stay there, nothing else. And then you'll fall asleep. So sleep is something we call an involuntary process. So we can control our fingers like this. I can show you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes.
But we cannot control whether our heart is contracting or expanding, right? So our heart is an involuntary organ. Sleep is an involuntary process. You cannot just say, okay, brain, sleep. It doesn't happen that way. All you can do is to provide the brain the right environment for it to fall asleep naturally. If you want to increase your heart rate, you can't control your heart to pump faster, but you can run, you can jump, you can do push up and so on to get your heart pumping. Sleep is the same thing. You can't control sleep like how you control your fingers.
Wow, that is amazing. And it's something that so much of us need, but we can't control it. Wow, this is amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, guys, we are coming up to the hour, and I think we still have more questions. Everybody, are you guys having a blast with the conversations that we're having with Sarah and Shawn? Oh my gosh, are you guys learning a lot about yourselves? Oh my, if you are, say yeah, tons. And we still have more questions. Our two experts here, Sarah, Shawn. Guys, do you guys want more? If you want more, type more. And then we're going to keep going. All right, guys. How many of you still want to keep these experts here? We do want to ask them some more questions. Rachel, telling yourself to sleep. If you guys want them to stay, we can go a little bit more. Type more, please. All right, let us know. Oh, wow. Oh my God, there's so many messages. Don't focus on thinking about sleeping. Thanks a lot, Jim. Thank you. Vince, more. No Hidayah, more. Yeah, Jin, Ayuni. Okay. The people have spoken. All right. Let's go. Oh my gosh. Keep it coming, guys. Keep it coming. Guys, bring on the questions. I'm just going to go to Jennifer's question. Jennifer brought up, I hope Jennifer is still here. Jennifer brought up a question on if I have consistency is important. What will be the options for people that are working shifts? How do I manage that? This is awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I think Shawn can give that because it's like shift work.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
That messes up with the biological clock for sure. For sure.
Totally.
So of course, if you really have to do shift work, definitely you will have to expect that your sleep will get disrupted every now and then. So I'm not sure how much control you have over your work environment, but generally speaking, I have two main recommendations for people who have to do shift work. Number one, try to not shift your shift too regularly. If possible, one shift should last for about 2 weeks. So if this week, if for now you have to do a morning shift, for example, this morning shift should last for 2 weeks. But the problem is a lot of shift workers, they don't follow that kind of schedule. Like today they do morning shift, 2 days later they do evening shift. So your brain really will have a bit of difficulty adjusting. So if you have control over your work environment, talk to your boss, or if you are the boss, make sure that when you do your roster, don't make your staff go through very rapid changes in their shift. That's number one. And number two, when you have to change around the shift, make sure it is not counterclockwise. It is a clockwise kind of a change. So for example, if it's a morning shift, when you want to switch someone, you want to switch it to the afternoon shift, not straight away the night shift or something like that. So try to move your shift according to the clock's rotation and not anti-clockwise.
Okay. So you're moving it forward, just adding hours, instead of it from being here, go straight down to the bottom. Something too drastic, the body cannot adjust. And that's a similar thing when we go through jet lag, when we're jet lagging. It's the same thing.
But jet lags, I think also, I think what Shawn is referring to is similar to us flying west. We will, meaning westward, like from Malaysia, we want to fly to, say, the UK, for example. Our body will adjust way quicker as opposed to us flying from UK back home to Malaysia, eastward,
Okay, so that's, again, the forwards in the clock instead of backwards.
Yep.
Interesting, very interesting. Wow, I didn't know that. You're blowing my mind, you guys. Okay, and then, I'm like really right now. I think everybody knows like, okay. So Nick is asking this question again, and I think this is a question for everybody. Sleep well can lose weight. So can sleep affect weight loss? If yes, how does it work? Because I've heard this before, I'm just not sure because it's a brain. So how does it affect the rest of our body? Yeah.
In a quick way, yes. Why? Because it doesn't make you feel when you are sleep deprived, you tend to have cravings. So you want to eat more fatty food, salty food, or not so much sweets, I think, right, Shawn? I think it's more of the fatty food. You crave for that. So when you have this sleep debt for a long time, you sleep deprived, you tend to crave for this sort of food, and that's why it's not helping with the weight loss. So
how does the craving work when I've also heard people have less sleep, the sleep debt, and then they smoke more, they drink more to I mean, is it to support some other kind of need or deficit? So I'm not sure. How does that work?
Maybe Shawn can give that sort of like that medical part,
So how sleep can affect weight is a very complicated kind of process. There are multiple mechanisms involved. So I don't think I will be able to recall every single one, but I'll just highlight a few that I think will be very, very relevant here. So obviously, if you don't sleep enough, it will affect your basal metabolic rate. So we burn calories mainly from our day-to-day activity. In fact, actually, when you exercise, you don't really burn a lot of fat. You don't really burn a lot of calories, to be honest. The most part of your calories are actually burned based on your body's functioning, natural functioning. So even when you're asleep, even when you're awake, you're not doing much, your body is still burning calories, you see? If you don't sleep enough, this metabolism will slow down, and it will definitely affect the way you expand your calories. So that's one of the reasons. So number two is that when you don't get enough sleep, your body don't. I mentioned that sleep is not necessary for body recovery, but it does play a role. Okay, it is true that it does play a role. So if your body cannot recover fast enough, then what does it mean? It means that your muscles cannot build fast enough. If your body muscles cannot build fast enough, in the long run, again, your basal metabolic rate will come down as well. And also, like what Sarah mentioned, when you don't get enough sleep, your brain will crave for fatty food and also sweet food as well. It is true that our brain will crave for sweet food.
Right.
So there are too many things to name that I can't recall every single one of them. But trust me, if you don't get enough sleep, everything will be messed up.
Oh, gosh.
That's true.
That is very interesting.
It's
thank
so
you.
important, right? Because they don't realize. It's just like sleep is like, oh my God, such a waste of time. Like, I don't need to sleep so much. I just need enough. And then, I get a lot more things done.
Totally. Sarah, Shawn, that is amazing, because sometimes I find when I don't get enough sleep, I'm not as disciplined. it's like I let it go. Okay lah, today I will eat some carbs. Like I tend to leave my carbs to only the weekends. But when I'm sleep deprived, I'm not so disciplined, I'm not so controlled. Hey, Winston, please don't go to sleep yet. Hello, my goodness.
Going to bed now. You
Yeah,
can't anyway. Your body won't let you sleep right now.
yeah, it's 5 p.m. Okay. So that's really awesome. Carlock is asking this question, guys. Wow, there are questions piling on, gang. So I'm just gonna try and get to them. All right. Wow, you're blowing my mind. Is there a way to educate my body to wake up naturally at a certain time so that we don't need to set an alarm?
Yeah.
Sarah, wanna kick it off?
Sure. For me, I would think that go back to that. What feels natural for you? Like for me, I wake up with the sunrise. I will wake up at the same time every day, no matter how I sleep the night before. My body will just tend to like, hey, what? Oh, it's morning. Like what time is it? So it's usually around 7. Naturally, around 7:30. That's when my body naturally wants to wake up. Sometimes it's 45. So around that range. So I know then if my body wants to wake up at this time, then I count back the number of hours that for me I think would be sufficient for me to be at my 100%. So for me it's 7 hours. So let's say 7. So 7 minus 7 is midnight, right? But I tend to want to go to bed by 11ish because maybe the 7 plus hours, then plus minus here, you roll about. So that gives me about 7 hours. So then I think that would kind of educate your body. You making your body into a routine to go to sleep at a certain time and wake up at a certain time. Also weekends. Some people tend to catch up on sleep on weekends, sleep in. Actually, that's not good for the day-to-day consistency. It actually messes up. That's why you get a Monday blues, because Monday, you tend to sleep late. Oh, it's the weekend. Yeah, I want to sleep late. Yeah, then come Monday, you gotta start back to that routine again. So you feel sluggish Monday morning.
So it's good. It's good to just maintain the routine, and even on the weekdays, the weekends, just try and get up at the same time to train the body.
Yeah, go to sleep at the same time as well. Not just wake up at the same time.
Wake up at the same time. I tend to wake up earlier on the weekends because I look forward to go cycling. So I'll be up at like 4:30 in the morning. And then on the weekdays, 6 o'clock, even that's hard. But on the weekends, I get so excited to wake up, yeah. Thank you so much, Sarah. And another question here that's coming, because I think that it's amazing. Is yawning a sign that you are sleepy? I think, Shahira, that's a good question. I'm not sure if it's an obvious one, but maybe I'll pose that to the experts. Shawn, you want to take this one?
Yawning is a sign that your brain is not having enough oxygen, not so much about
sleepiness.
That's right. Because sometimes I yawn in the middle of my exercise. Yep. Like I work out so hard, and then my personal trainer will look at me and I'll go, oh, and he'll stare at me, how dare you? No, but it's actually my brain getting a bit tired. Yeah. All right. It's the oxygen in the brain. Yes. Huh? Wow, very good. Okay, Louise asked this amazing question. Is it recommended to take a nap in the day? Oh, good one. Sarah, Shawn, you want to have a kick at this?
Yeah, I think that goes back to, again, if you're the type who needs a nap, like they have that afternoon dip. For me, I do get the afternoon dip, but I know that if I take a nap, depends. So if I really feel like, oh my God, I'm so sleepy, then I'll listen to my body. I'll just take that maybe 15, 20 minutes nap. And then when I wake up, I feel recharged. But there are days when sometimes that nap just goes beyond that time, like touches 1 hour, or then at night I'll have trouble sleeping. So it really is from individual basis. So one person would nap. My husband, he needs an afternoon nap. After lunch, he needs his nap. That's how he does it. He needs his nap. So like for me, it's like no, I don't need to take naps, because then I will sleep at the same time every day. So yeah, well, it's recommended if you feel your body needs it. I guess that would be my answer.
That's also listening to your body. But I also realize sometimes people need a nap in the middle of the day, especially when it's after lunch. It's when the insulin kicks in because we had that meal and then we take that nap. So I'm not sure if that is the the healthy way of taking that nap, or is there a better way of doing that? And is it still recommended? Yeah, if it's that's the case.
I don't think it's due to heavy meals or lunchtime. It's just like, okay, in terms of the circadian rhythm, right? Like what the thing that controls our hormones. We have this, like in the middle of it, there's this dip. So we go like really high, like all this cortisol kicks in, and that's when we're peaking, and then after that there's a dip. And then in between that, and then another kick in again. Then even though we don't take that, we feel so sleepy, tahan. And then after a few minutes, after an hour, for example, we just feel refreshed again, even though we didn't take that nap. So that's like their circadian rhythm that controls that. So it's not so much the heavy meal. I used to think that, I have so much rice, I want to sleep now. It's not that. It's actually the circadian rhythm that we have that afternoon. That there's a dip in between there. Yeah. So if we want to take a nap, why not? It's that what was it in Italy or something, that it's a culture for them to do the siesta.
Right.
To take afternoon naps. Yeah, it's a culture for them to take naps in the afternoon. Right. So yeah, it's fine. Naps are okay if it works for you.
I agree with that. In fact, I want to give one more situation where you should definitely take a nap. After you have a study session, so after you do some revision for students or when you're reading something, right after that, go take a short nap. Trust me, after that, you will be able to remember your information much better. Because remember, we mentioned that sleeping is for the brain. When you sleep, your brain actually consolidates memory. So when you get new information, having that small nap will actually help your brain absorb the information much better. So yes, please, if it's possible for you to take a nap, take a nap. But again, if it's daytime nap, try not to go beyond 2 hours because it may disrupt your nighttime sleep in a way.
Right.
So naps are generally good.
That is fantastic. Thank you. I probably have to build the naps into our coaching workshops, like in the whole day. Okay, everybody, 10 minutes, let's go and sleep.
That's why like some places like malls, maybe not here, but overseas, they have those like nap pots, they call it. Like you can just rent like that little place that you can just take a nap. Yeah,
that's
malls.
That's fantastic. And what I love what you said about helping us retain information.
Memory.
So after, I wish I knew this when I was in college because I go and immediately get busy doing something else. Okay, I drive off and then I go shopping and I go and run around and the information is just going. So it's good to take the nap immediately after. That's good. Fantastic. According to NASA, 26 minutes is the perfect nap. Thank you, Julie. Not more than 2 hours because that will affect the rhythm. Yeah, fantastic. I love it. Thank you, Louise. I hope that answers your question. Yvonne Ng has an amazing question. How does dreams get into this? So if you are dreaming, that means the brain is still active, right? And how do we deal with dreams? Oh my gosh, Yvonne, this is fantastic. I get tired, and sometimes when I wake up, I can remember my dream, and then I'm so tired. So how does that work? Wow. Thank you, Yvonne. Sarah,
Shawn will take this because dreams happen in REM sleep, so he's more it's greater at explaining that sort of science of sleep, and dreams happen during REM, rapid eye movement.
Okay, so I want to address this question first. So if you are dreaming, that means that the brain is still active, right? So the answer to that is that your brain is always active regardless. Okay, so even when you're falling asleep, your brain is actually still very much active. In fact, there is a predictable pattern that we can see when you're falling asleep. So dreams happen to be one of the components of the sleep process, right? So it is believed by scientists that when you are in REM sleep, that is the time where the memory consolidation happens. Okay, and that is why your daytime activity, the things that you have seen and heard and feel during the day, would sometimes affect the content of your dream. Now, another important point that Maresa mentioned just now, that sometimes she can remember her dream, right? So let me make an educated guess here. When you wake up from your dream, you probably will be able to remember some content of the dream, okay? But as you carry on with your daily activities, as you go shower, brush your teeth, and so on, you will know that probably you dreamt about something, but you can't really remember the content. And by the end of the day, maybe in the morning already, you couldn't probably remember your content. for those people who say that I can remember my dreams very well, chances are what they did was they keep rehearsing the content in their mind. So they wake up, they have a dream, they feel that the dream is impactful, emotional, it's meaningful, they keep thinking about it. But as they think about it, they are actually also manipulating the content of the dream. So because dreams are generally not logical, you see, at one point you can be here, suddenly you are there, and then you see people who don't even exist. And then when you wake up, your brain will have a bit of difficulty understanding that kind of inconsistent message. And then when you recall this information in your mind, you will start to throw in your own interpretation. Okay? So what I'm trying to say is this. It is a normal process. It is a normal thing for us to dream. When we wake up, no matter how we feel about the dream, we don't usually remember it. If you can remember your dream, you must have already repeated it multiple times in your mind. And when you repeat it multiple times in your mind, you have already tampered with the content. So dream analysis is actually something quite questionable because there is no way you can accurately share with other people about the content of your dream. And no matter how you feel about a dream, it is just our brain doing its job.
Right, right. Oh, that is fantastic. I mean, those were questions that I've had for a long time. So, Yvonne, I'm so glad you asked that question. Wow, that's mind blowing. Okay, so I'm not going to rehearse my dream anymore. I'm going to stop doing that. Keep thinking, what did I dream? What did I dream? And my brain keeps thinking about it. That's fantastic. Ellen asks, thank you so much, Louise. Awesome information. Ellen is asking, is essential oils useful to make us sleep well? That comfortable environment before they go to bed, right? So does that help?
Yeah, I think,
Sarah?
okay, for me, I think it goes back to, how people take supplements to replace something like real food, for example. Like for me, I'm a firm believer that real food should come first, right? And then supplements just to help with that, like with your health in your body and things like that. But real food, nutrients should come from real food. So the same goes with sleep. If your sleep is just poor, for example, and then you just slap on essential oils and thinking that this is going to help you, no, it's not going to help you feel better. In fact, all these other sleep hygiene needs to be in place. And if you use essential oil on top of that, then yes, it will make your sleep better. It will just relax your body and all that with the certain types of essential oil that's supposed to help you relax. So it's not just lavender. There's like beyond that. There's like tons of other essential oils that can help you relax and improve sleep. But so that would be my feedback to that question.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Very, very good question. Shawn, anything to add to this before? Guys, we will probably take one of our last few questions. I think is a pretty interesting one by Dorothy. If you guys have any more, gang. But yes, Shawn, anything to add to that? Essential oils.
Yeah, generally, I agree with doing things that will help you sleep better. But as much as possible, if you can sleep without any external associations, that would be the best. So some people say, I cannot sleep in other people's bed. I cannot sleep when this is not on and something like that. Well, if you definitely need that to sleep, I mean, go ahead. But if it's possible, slowly wean it down. Yeah. Because as much as possible, we want to be able to sleep anywhere, anytime.
Yes, yes.
As much as possible.
That's fantastic. I mean, I know some people that say, "Oh, I need a glass of wine to fall asleep. I need some music to fall asleep." Yeah, we're still dependent on the external factors instead of our own body being able to relax in order to. That's why some people take sleeping pills as well. Which for me, I think the reliance on the sleeping pill is actually quite dangerous. I mean, I imagine it could be hazardous in the long term. Yeah. Questions that are still coming in, gang. If you have any, we can probably take one last question. Okay, Dorothy has one and Mabel has one. Dorothy, may I know if we can change our chronotype? Okay, so that's a bit of a technical word there, such as changing my wake up time from 8 a.m. to maybe around 5:30 a.m., pulling it up the clock. What are your views, guys?
I don't know. My own view is I don't think you can change it like as to your will, because this is something that it's like a biological clock. Yeah. But it does change from one phase of your life to another for sure, right? As you age, or when you're from teenager, your chronotype's like this, and then when you're adult, it's this. Then when you're older, it becomes something else. But just switching your chronotype like that, I don't think that's possible. It's like here, like 8 a.m. sounds like to me like probably like a late bear kind of chronotype, and then you want to change to a lion chronotype, which wakes up at 4, 5 a.m. That's going to be tough will take a toll on you in the long run. I think it's unsustainable for someone who is naturally waking up at 8 to suddenly want to wake up at 5 and just trying to sustain that. I think it will take a lot of effort to get into that sort of routine. Yeah,
sure.
It's not sustainable.
And I find that when I wake up at like say 4:30 to wake up for a bike ride, I mean I regularly wake up maybe 6:30, 7. But when I wake up at 4 in the morning for a bike ride, I get really tired. Literally, like I feel like I need to close my eyes at 1 o'clock because it's too early. So that kind of big gap in changing the body clock. Shawn, anything to add? Thanks so much, Sarah. Amazing.
So this is probably related to my answer for the previous question about shift, right? So I think it is possible to change unless, as long as you are really committed to making it a long-term thing. Sure. So don't just think of, I want to change it for a period of time. If you really plan to stay in a certain sleep pattern in the long run, it is possible to change. Because as much as we are determined by our internal genetics when it comes to chronotype, right? Actually, environment also play a factor. So, for example, imagine if we are now migrating to another country with a different time zone. Naturally, we will also change the time that we sleep. Of course, in the end, we will still follow back. If you usually feel sleepy at a certain time, even in a different time zone, you will also feel sleepy in that different time zone. But this is telling us, this is at least indicating to us that our biological clock is at least interacting with the environment. You see? So the idea of epigenetic basically means that our environment affects our gene expression. We come to the world with a set of genes, right? But whether the gene gets expressed depends on what we interact with and how we interact with the environment. So it is possible, it is challenging, but it is possible. And if you really plan to do it, make sure that you really do it in the long run and not always switching back and forth between your wake and sleep time.
Sure. Like you said, give it that 2 weeks instead of it's randomly changing on a daily basis that will end up hurting and harming our body instead. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Thank you so much. Mabel is asking this question about dreams. Could our dreams foretell our future? Good dream or bad dream? Could it be a subconscious mind trying to warn us something? Shawn, you talked about it earlier. Do you want to continue?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I want to just elaborate on the point that I made just now. So just now I basically explained that there is no way we can accurately describe the content of our dream, because as soon as we think about our dream content, we are repeating it in our mind and we are tempering it with our own false memory to some extent. We are creating content, we are trying to iron out things that don't really make sense. So it is actually very difficult for us to accurately reflect on our dream content. Now, this question is probably from this idea called deja vu. Okay, because whenever I talk about sleep-related stuff, people always ask me about deja vu. So sometimes I feel like I've been in a situation where I've dreamt before, right? So my question to deja vu is that deja vu is actually a neurological phenomena. It is a situation where your brain activates a part that makes you feel very familiar. So there is a certain activity in your brain that can make you feel familiar about something. So sometimes before people get seizure, they get deja vu. Right? So they feel like, I feel a very familiar sense of whatever. I think I have experienced this particular situation before, right? And scientists have actually done a bit of studies on this, and they noticed that people who have that kind of deja vu experience, the reason is because certain parts of their brain have been activated, and that part of the brain is responsible for the sense of familiarity.
Right.
So I really don't know how to directly answer the question because, again, I don't think dreams can be accurately represented. But if you are talking about deja vu, then it is probably a neurological phenomena.
Right. Bringing a memory of something that is familiar to us. And then after which is the analysis. And the analysis is really just a placing of meaning on something that we remember. And the meaning can be anything.
Yeah,
that's why the dream analysis may or may not be encouraged. I mean, again, it's just placing a meaning to something. That is fantastic. Yes, Carlo, I thought the deja vu is a signal accidentally sent twice to our brain, but it's very interesting that
is one of the theories as well.
Wow.
Yeah, that is one of the theories as well.
Mind blowing. All right,
Yeah, but
guys.
for me, I
Yeah.
think that like what Mabel is saying, that
Yes.
foretell future.
Yes.
I don't know. I think maybe to a certain extent it's a bit of a woo-woo, like a bit spiritual when it comes to this.
Yeah.
But I think because I have not studied, I have been trained in this sort of like modality where you should listen to your dream, because your dream does tell you something, for me, because it's based on your experience. It's based on when your subconscious is bigger than what your conscious mind can absorb, right?
True.
So I think in a way, so your subconscious mind tells you something that, yeah, you want an answer. For example, oh, I have this big life decision to make, what should I do? You can ask your dream to tell you, because you have all the information in your subconscious mind already to help you with the decision, and it can help you with in your dream, that tells that message in your dream. So that's one of the modalities that I've learned about that. So yeah, I think in a way, trying to warn us, it could be a warning, it could be an answer, it could help you make decisions.
Mm.
So perhaps that would be something that Mabel was looking for, the kind of answer. There is such training out there that does this.
All right. Fantastic. Fantastic. We have a few more questions, gang. I'm just wondering, guys. Oh gosh, I think I've seen Dorothy has another question here, but I think the questions keep coming. Visaka Chu is asking another question. Guys, can we take the last two? Last two, is that okay? Boleh ya?
Sure.
Boleh ya?
Yes, can.
Wow. Guys,
I'm
can
also
I
reading
hear
the questions.
can I have a big round of applause for these guys? Oh my gosh, they're going at it. And are you guys having a good time? Say yeah. Can we just hear it from you? Oh my gosh. Okay, last two questions. I know it's been amazing and you guys have been blowing our minds. Dorothy is saying this. My children and most of her classmates from elite school since secondary 4 till just now have been till now have been having 5 hours of sleep from Monday to Friday due to social media first and then schoolwork. Why most of them still do well in their academics? Okay, that's a question for me too. We've got all these sports jocks and they spend so little time studying, but then very good in academics. So maybe Sarah, do you want to take this question, and then Shawn, let's chime in?
Okay, I can only relate because my daughter is in this she's not secondary 4, but she is like in that teenager year already. So she's showing all these signs of wanting to sleep later and waking up later. And but she does sleep a lot, not 5 hours. So I'm not sure whether she has really for sure is 5 hours only for sleep, because maybe that student probably sleeps during the day as well to kind of catch up with sleep. Social media, yes, TikTok is number one for them. So I think that takes up a lot of their time before they want to go to sleep. Why they still do in their academics, then maybe it goes back to, again, the brain and how they study. Because my daughter, like how Shawn says it, like after she has her whole day of online school, which they do now, and then right after that, she'll go take a nap. So that's what she does. She just takes a nap after that. I'm so tired, I just want to take a nap. So okay, fine, I just let her take her nap. And she does retain memory very well for her. And I have 3 girls, right? So I can't compare, but my eldest one tends to retain memory a lot better. And maybe also because she does her studying in a late night, because that's when she can absorb information and be creative a lot more in the middle of the night, where I'm super tired and just like, whatever, I just want to go to sleep. But she does it well in the night. So yeah, all that revision she does during the day, she takes a nap. At night, she does a revision. For me, I don't know, this is just my own personal base, nothing like scientific about it, but this is what she's been practicing. So maybe that's why she's in a way doing well in her academics. So maybe Shawn can chime in terms of like the absorbency of the information and timing of sleep and all.
I think the question has actually answered itself. You see, the first statement here, my children and most of our classmates from elite school, it means that these kids are generally smart kids already, to be honest. So there is actually a difference when it comes to natural capacity to learn. So if they are really top students already, it is not surprising that they perform better, perform good at school, perform well academically. But generally, my belief is that if they sleep better, probably they will learn even better.
Right. Okay. And probably sleeping at the right time upon absorbing information.
Yeah.
Wow, that was new information to me. I love it. Wow. Visaka, last question. Can doing yoga nidra, I'm not sure
Yoga
what the
nidra.
yoga, help one to fall asleep if experience difficulty falling asleep? So does yoga help? Do you know what yoga nidra is? Is that a
Yeah,
type
no,
of yoga?
yoga nidra is like a relaxation type of yoga. It's not like the yoga you do exercise like that. No, that's not yoga nidra. It's one of the ways to do some form of relaxation. People meditate and then they sleep. Some people do breath work and then some people do yoga nidra. So yes, definitely yoga nidra is helpful to help one to sleep, to fall
Okay.
asleep
Okay.
at least. Mm.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. I hope that helped, Visaka. Shawn, anything to add?
I don't really know what yoga nidra is.
Yeah, that's the first time I heard that. Yoga
Yeah. I mean,
Nidra.
I know what
Wow.
yoga is, but I don't know what yoga nidra
Yeah,
is.
yoga nidra is a form of like
Okay.
a
To me,
relaxation.
yoga is
Yeah.
stressful. Okay, because I
Okay.
can't do all this downward dog. I can't do all that. So for me, I'm like wide awake if I'm doing yoga. I'm like I'm struggling. I know,
No, that's not the
Sarah.
yoga.
I know Sarah does yoga. Yeah, but it doesn't help me sleep.
But that's when I wake up, not before I go to sleep.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Wow. Oh my gosh, look at all the comments. Wow, guys. Nick, Karanisa, yeah. Yvonne, yeah. Awesome session. Emma, Rachel, yeah. Jin. Okay,
Yay.
everybody's having a blast, but I believe we have to let you go now. So guys, let's conclude the session, but I need you guys to share some parting advice. You know, we started this conversation because we're talking about resilience and sleep as a major part of resilience to help us to sustain our mental health. You know, it's not about of course the current climate is very challenging for some of us, and that self-care, that very basic thing that we need to know how to do, which is sleep, yeah, and among many things, eating, sleeping. What are some of your last few words of advice? Yeah, and for me, I don't want to say last few words of advice, guys, because every one of you want to hear more from Shawn, Sarah. Right after this, they will be sharing their contact details so that you guys, can they continue to keep in touch with you? Is that
Sure.
okay? Yeah. So let's share all that shortly, but let's get to some of your last few bits of personal advice, please. Yeah. Maybe Sarah, you want to go first, and then Shawn.
Mm. Okay, so for me, it's just based on my personal experience with the whole MCO when we had to go down into it early October, right? It was then I started having insomnia again. like I said, I go to bed around 11-ish, 12, right? And then I'm asleep. But during that first week, when everyone just had to go indoors and not go out, I tend to go to sleep at 2, 3 a.m. and it was really difficult for me to shut. I couldn't shut off, basically. My brain just kept going. And I tried this, I tried so many things I cannot try. I tried that, I cannot go to sleep. So eventually I just like, okay, put my sleep consultant hat on. Okay, what is going on here? Is it the energy? No, I do my exercise no matter what, because I do it indoors anyway, with the instructor on the screen. But then I thought, okay, I haven't been going out because I used to do the school run, in the morning, can send my kids to school, and then probably get some breakfast and then come back. So I always have that exposure to light in the day, or some parts during the day, which I haven't done. And my house is an intermediate house, which poor natural sunlight to come in. And yeah, my plants die. If indoor plants, they can't live inside my house. It's because of very little natural light. So I realized I haven't been getting enough natural sunlight. So my word of advice, if you can't do that, there's just one tip is to go outdoors. Go out, get that sun exposure, get that light exposure, get it through your eyes, whatever. Just go for a walk around the neighborhood or something. And that has definitely helped me to like regulate back to feeling sleepy again and all that. So for me, light matters, light exposure. Yeah.
Light exposure. And I know, Sarah, I think that's amazing, because we don't realize it, but we're under a roof, we're in the shelter so many hours, and that affects our sleep too. Wow, that is amazing. Thank you. Thank you. We take that for granted because we move around office, we travel to work, we go and buy lunch, bungkus, tapao, and come back. All that is movement outside in the sun. Wow. So thank you for sharing that. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah, for your words of advice. And over to Shawn. Words of advice.
Well, I would say that don't take sleep problems lightly. Sleep is actually a very, very important psychological mechanism. So, a very important mental health mechanism. When our mental health is affected, it will be reflected in sleep. So, if you are generally an okay sleeper, you sleep generally well, and you notice there is a change in your sleep pattern, and it's not just a 1 or 2 day thing, pay attention to it. Also, when we are not able to sleep well, it will actually impede our ability to recover from emotional distress and challenges. So don't take sleep problems lightly. If you have insomnia, meaning to say you really have difficulty sleeping or your sleep is just not well for a prolonged period of time, you need professional help. Generally speaking, most insomnia problems can be treated and without medication. There is a particular type of insomnia called primary insomnia, and that has something to do with the brain. That one, to be honest, not a lot of treatment, but it is also very, very rare. Most cases of insomnia, secondary insomnia, are caused by something else. Maybe you're depressed, maybe you didn't exercise enough, maybe you're stressed or something else. And these conditions can be improved without medication. So if you really have sleep problems, reach out. There are things that can be done.
Wow. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Don't take it lightly. If there are changes and patterns in your sleep, we should be more aware. I think one of the things that I'm not doing is sometimes I'm just not aware. I get up and then what's the next thing? What's the next thing? We're not listening to our body kinetics. We're not listening to it enough. So for me, and one of the things that I'm really taking away from everything that you shared today, Sarah, Shawn, is just listening to our body, understanding our patterns, doing what works for us instead of just going with the flow and reacting to all the demands of our lives. Yeah, business, kids, you name it. But that self-care ought to start with us. Yeah. Very good. Wow. Thank you so much, Melissa. Amazing session. All right, everybody, we've come to the end of the show. If you guys had a blast, please help me thank these amazing people, both Sarah and Shawn. Sarah can be, you can catch her, guys, on her Facebook, on her fan page. Please go to her website, sarahong.co. You can get a lot of information about her sleep programs for children, for those of you who are young moms and those of you who are moms or dads trying to get some sleep. By all means, please reach out to Sarah on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram as well, right, Sarah? On Instagram too.
Yeah, Instagram mostly. Yes, I'm there mostly. I hang out on Instagram.
Hang out, so you want to hang out with us again, guys?
Yes,
Yeah. So
hang out with me.
Yeah, let's hang out some more. All right. So this has been really amazing. Thank you. Dorothy says a big load of thanks. Louise, amazing session. And for Dr. Shawn, Shawn has his own consultancy company, but you can also Google him. He's the head of science at Naluri. You can reach out to Dr. Shawn. Although Shawn, you go by a different name on LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's
share?
my real name.
Your real name. So
yeah, my birth name.
Your birth name. Okay.
Yeah.
Rachel, can you share the links here, please, guys, in the background team? Can you please look for Dr. Shawn Lee and then his Chinese name on LinkedIn? Guys, please reach out. I'm very sorry, but I think Rachel is asking some questions and there's some amazing questions still coming in. But guys, we're going to end this session. Please join us again on the Spark Group Asia. Please add us on our Facebook group, our Facebook page. Please like our page as well. If you want to know more, and gang, if you want to bring our experts back again, Sarah and Shawn, please let us know. All right. If you have more questions on sleep, we'd love to host you again. So, wow,
it's been fun. It's been fun. Thank you for having us. It's such a pleasure. Yeah, to talk about sleep. We love sleep. I love my sleep.
I love sleep. Next time we do the show, we bring our pillow.
Oh, that would be so nice.
Oh my gosh, I love sleep, and I learned so much. I think we all learned so much from both of you today. So thank you
Yeah,
for
I learned
giving
from
us.
Shawn as well. Actually, I learned a
We
lot
learn,
from
we
Shawn
all
as
learn from
well.
each other every time.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank
We'll be leaving the
you.
links in here. So, guys, if you can share this video out with your friends who need some sleep. I know maybe some of them couldn't be here today, but please click share, tag friends on this Facebook Live so that they don't miss out some of this valuable information. Okay, so thank you all of you for being such jolly. I love Shawn's our jolly spectators, and everybody has been very participative. So thank you very much. And so I wish you a very good time sleeping. Yeah, and may you have a great night of rest today. So thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here today. All right, everybody. Thank you.
Thank
Bye for
you.
now.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.